Hi children, this is Vivid Botany. We are discussing questions of NEET 2021. Here we have a question that in which family the pollen grain viability is for months. Let us see that what is pollen grain and what is the viability. We know that pollen grain is partially developed male gametophyte. It is partially developed male gametophyte. Male gametophyte means it will develop the male gametes. It contains male gametes that are responsible for fertilization. So the chief function of the pollen grains is to undergo pollination. May it be self-pollination or the cross-pollination. The chief function of the pollen grain is to reach the stigma. If it doesn't reach the stigma, it's not successful, so it is said to be the wasted. One most important thing is that every pollen grain has got its own life. The pollen grain has lifespan, that is certain lifespan. The certain lifespan is called as viability. Often this term is also applicable to seeds also. We call seed viability and we call the pollen grain viability. That is, still the viability is with that till it is alive, then only it can perform the pollination. Once the pollen grain is dead, it cannot perform the pollination or fertilization. That is the case here. It is asking that what is the viability that were for months in which families. Before getting into question, we should discuss some points about the viability of the pollen grains. In Poaceae, Poaceae members means they are monocots, they are grasses, monocots and grasses. We can give lots of examples for them. Pollen viability is just 30 minutes. Yes, it's not false. It is true. I am speaking. It is just 30 minutes. Just a half an hour. Within half an hour, the pollen grain has to liberate from the anther. It has to travel all the long way. It has to reach the right type of stigma of the flower of the species. Then, after successful pollen pistil interaction, it has to germinate on stigma and develop the pollen tube to effect the fertilization. So, since from dehiscence till the pollination of the right stigma, that should be not more than 30 minutes. If it is more than 30 minutes, think that pollination is waste, the pollen grain is waste. So you can understand having 30 minutes is very crucial for the plant to transfer the pollen grains from anthers to stigma, maybe of different flowers or maybe of different plants of same species also. So this is the case in case of Poaceae. We know the members of Poaceae that include the staple food of the entire world, that is rice or Rhiza sativa, wheat, Triticum vulgare or Triticum aestivum, barley, it is Hardium vulgare, and rye, Illucine caracana, and zoar, sorghum vulgare, maize, zea maize, oat, Avena sativus, in which that FW went extracted auxins for the first time, conducted bioassay test in Avena coleoptile. So these are some of the examples of the Poaceae members in which, remember, the viability of pollen grain is just 30 minutes, not even 1 hour. Then in some families like we have here, one is Rosaceae, Leguminaceae, Solanaceae, In these families, the viability is for months. Viability is for months. So it can be an year, or it can be less than a year, or it can be more than a year. So let us see that this is better than, I think, when you see the Poaceae members, it is better because for some months means it has got certain time to reach the pollen grain and to affect the pollination. But in case of Poaceae, it's very shortest time to affect the pollination. In Rosaceae, we can give some examples. The beautiful flower, that is Rosa, and we can give some more examples also. Like we have that Pyrus malus. And coming to Leguminaceae, Leguminaceae was earlier. It is a family. At the level of family, it has got the three subfamilies that include here Papilionaceae, or we call it as the Fabaceae, Cisalpinaceae, and Mimosae. So these three are subfamilies under the family Leguminaceae, but ICBN told that there should not be any subfamily. So this term, the family of Leguminaceae, was eliminated, and these three are now elevated to the position of the families. Now there are no more subfamilies. All these are the families, but the three families will have almost all similar characters except some rare characters. Under Fabaceae, earlier we call it as Papilionoidae or Papilionaceae. We know that all pulses or grams, dals come under the Fabaceae, like we have Tuvar dal, Urad dal, Moong dal. All the dals, pulses come under Fabaceae, including groundnut, P. Pisum sativum, Dolichos lab, and many more plants that come under Fabaceae. Cisalpinaceae, the best example that you know, Tamarindus. Everyone knows tamarind, and gulmohar, you know, that is ornamental plant involved. It is planted in social forestry, urban forestry, on either side of the roads and footpaths. It is having beautiful red and yellow flowers. Very popular example. And mimosae, you know, touch me not, that is called as Mimosa pudica, touch me not plant. When you touch it, the leaves get closed. That is Mimosa pudica, is also an example of mimosa. And Acacia arabica, it is thorn plant, like it is true zero fight. Acacia nilotica, Acacia catechu, Acacia cancina, and we have fillowed example in morphology, Australian Acacia. Fillowed example, Australian Acacia, that comes under the Mimosae. So let us see the Solanaceae members, much more famous family. This is also, we have this in NCERT plus one. And one example that I can give you, potato, that is Solanum tuberosum, is one such example. And brinjal, Solanum melongena, both having same genus but different species. And Lycopersicon, that is tomato, we know pomato, a mixture and a somatic hybrid of tomato and potato. This question also asked in NEET 2021. And we have tobacco, I think you know very well. Tobacco leaves are commercially used for making cigars and all that. And in tobacco, nicotine, an alkaloid, is obtained from tobacco that causes cancer also. And tobacco is given fumigant. In families' economic importance, it is called as fumigatory. Do remember, tobacco is fumigatory. Nicotine is obtained from tobacco. Apart from that, we have ashwagandha, that is botanically called as Withania somnifera. Atropa belladonna, that is used as belladonna in that homeopathy. And we have night queen. I think all of you know the night queen, that is Cestrum nocturnum, and day king, Cestrum diurnum. So all these are popular examples of the Solanaceae. So in these three families, that is Rosaceae, Leguminaceae, Solanaceae, the viability is for months. Now let's see the question here. In which of the following families the pollen viability is for months. So in first one, Poaceae given, so it's not the right one. Second one, Poaceae given, it's wrong here also. Third one, Poaceae given, it's also wrong. So definitely the fourth one is correct, because in first three, Poaceae is given. It is a very simple question. He should not have given like this, because in three of them, Poaceae is common. So the one who knows that in Poaceae viability is 30 minutes, definitely he will just discard that, because there is no answer in first three, and answer will be definitely the fourth option, that is Rosaceae and Leguminaceae. Okay, and Rosaceae, Leguminaceae, Solanacea, the three are given consecutively along with Poaceae in first, second and third options. So this is completely an example question where you where you need to remember the examples, right? And he did not give the examples of family, he gave directly that family names. So this is directly taken from NCERT lines. Hope my explanation is helpful for you, and you can do this question. This type of questions are easy to solve, right? So we will see the next question in our next video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, that is Vivid Botany. Thank you.